Hey everyone, welcome to today's session on latest in Bitcoin tech. So this week we will have a look at three items, news items, and related proposals that have been floated within the Bitcoin community. These items have been featured across newsletters number 357 and 358. We had to like club these two news items together because we spent 2 weeks understanding the quantum computing report. Yeah. So we'll have a look at this configuration called assume valid that every node operator can use to prune their blocks. So there are some issues with it, and some solutions have been proposed regarding this particular configuration. We'll have a look at it. Then um, there is one type of attack called selfish mining. Uh, we'll just have a brief look at and try to understand what selfish mining is, and get a hang of what are the numbers, uh, like what percentage of node operators, what percentage of miners when performing a selfish mining would make it successful. So we'll have a look at those kinds of numbers. Then there is one more proposal regarding uh, the whenever now because different protocols are apart from normal transaction, different protocols are trying to use uh, Bitcoin's block. Uh, Transactions with higher sizes are being pushed through. So there is one proposal that helps us sort of balance the um, need for larger blocks, larger transactions to be put into blocks, and also the need for the block being able to accommodate all small financial transactions. So we'll have a look at what the problem is and what is the proposed solution. So first about assume valid. So we all know that you can have a full node with all the transaction and data validated. So this um, process of syncing or syncing your node uh, f- um, from ground up, we call it as initial block download. So it is one of the most time consuming and resource consuming process when setting up a node. um, but there are features that Bitcoin Core provides that will help us to sort of alleviate this strain of syncing a full node. So that is called as assume valid. So assume valid is a feature that you can enable while instantiating your node. When you do that, what it does is that it assumes that is your node assumes that the entire blockchain is valid and verified till a certain block. So this block height till which your node assumes that everything else is correct is called as the assume valid block height, and it is specified by default in every release of Bitcoin Core. So whenever a new release is up, this assume valid block is typically set to 1 or 2 months before the release date of the new version. So what when you enable assume valid, what your node assumes is that let's say a new version is released on July 7, 2025. Then, and you are enabling the assume valid option in your node while syncing. What it does is that till the node will assume that whatever blocks that are in the Bitcoin blockchain till June 7th will be assumed to be as valid. That means the node will not perform certain operations on those blocks. It will take it will take the information from those blocks as is, and it will not process them. So that is the purpose and mechanism of assume valid. So what we are doing here is that we are trading, or we are switching between security models. So when you completely verify the blockchain from Genesis block till the latest one, you are you are not trusting anyone, but you are verifying. So you are sort of sticking to the core ethos of Bitcoin. But on the other hand, if you choose this assume valid mode, you are opting for a collective validation a security model. That means you are trusting the Bitcoin core developers and also the broader Bitcoin community to have properly verified all the blocks thus far till the assume valid block. So it is a trade-off, and it depends upon individual and their need while installing a node. So what do you get with this assume valid mode? You get uh, drastically reduced initial block download time. You also drastically reduce the load on your CPU, and you also reduce the number of IO writes, IO operations on your hard disk. So, and also your node gets freed up. So basically, your node is not focused on doing all the verification of each and every transaction that has ever been in the blockchain. So now, because it is not busy in verification, it is busy. It can propagate whatever blocks that it has with it to other nodes. So it sort of contributes more to the network than to itself. And also, as a node operator, you enjoy the benefit of reduced bandwidth usage. So these are all the advantages that comes with it. Of course, there is also this trade-off in between the security models that assume valid comes with. So when you do an assume valid, what it does and what it doesn't, it just skips the script verification process. So as you all know, there is a block. There will be a block, and inside the block there will be transactions, and each transaction will have a public key and a signature. So a fully verifying node will run through the script. It will place the script sig of a transaction at the bottom of the stack, and on top of it place the script pub key, and then it will execute the whole stack. Only if the whole stack executes to be true, it will come to the conclusion that this is a valid transaction. So a full node does this for every single transaction that has ever been created since the Genesis block. But in the case of assume valid block or a node or a prune node, it doesn't do that. It just skips this process. It does all other verifications. Means it has to make sure that the node is on the highest proof of work chain, and it has to look into the block structure. It has to verify the Merkle roots, and it also has to verify a lot of other consensus rules like no double spending. Input should be greater than outputs plus fees. So all these consensus rules will be verified by the node. It only skips the script verification part. So it assumes that the scripts are verified and to be true. So it skips this verification process. So now we'll have a look at some of the statistics. Uh, Rough figures. Typically, we have the blockchain is around 670 GBs, and on top of that, we have to provide space for the UTXO set. Uh, in this 670 GB of block data, you have approximately 54% of it to be occupied by witness data, that is the signature part. So that would amount to somewhere around 360 GB of data, pure. Close to half of, or like more than half of the data in your blocks are witness data. Let's assume that we assume that the blocks mined or blocks created till 1 month before the release date are all valid. So in that case, you will have approximately about 358 GB of witness data that you will not be using. So uh, so you will the problem existing problem is that even if you set assume valid equals true, your node will go and download the entire 358 GB of witness data. The only thing is that it will not use it for anything. So it just downloads and then it deletes. So this has been identified to be as a serious waste of your resources, and the proposal is to modify this. So it's very simple fix. You just don't allow your nodes to download this witness data for all the assume valid blocks. So this is the problem, and this is the proposed solution. As far as the mechanism of implementing this solution is currently being debated on, how to realize this change is currently being debated on. So yeah, that was the news item uh, about prune nodes. How what is the security trade off uh, that we have that we uh, that we make when we choose a pruned node versus a full node, and what is the problem associated with it, and how to solve it. So yeah, that was the news item that we just saw. Uh, Next news item is about selfish mining. So basically, we all know that Bitcoin works on proof of work. Um, so, but there are ways in which you can you can game or game the system to achieve some advantages that are detrimental to the entire network's security architecture. So one such scheme is called as selfish mining. So it is basically different from 51% attacks, which the attacker should command a majority of the hash rate in the network. Uh, Whereas in the case of selfish mining, the attacker doesn't need to uh, control majority hash rates or larger than 50% hash rate. He can control a smaller proportion of the hash rate and still cause disruptions to the network. So how does it work? Is that let's take an example of mm, of a group of miners colluding to selfish mine. So let's say that they have 30% of the network's hash rate. So now what happens is that uh, these selfish miners, they mine and they successfully find a block. So let's say that the first block was found by the selfish miners. Now the honest miners, which are like they represent 70% of the hash rate. Um, mm, the difference is that the selfish miner, once he finds a block, he doesn't publish or report that he has found a block. So he mines it and he keeps it private, and he continues to build upon his private block. Uh, while on the other side, the harness miners who are expecting others to publish their newfound block, since they have not received any information from the selfish miner, they keep continuing to hash or try to find a block that has already been found by the selfish miner. So what happens here is that the the honest miners are sort of forced into a situation where they are wasting their hash rate on stale blocks. So so this happens. Now let us assume that the selfish miner also finds the second block. So now he has two blocks, but he has not yet published he has not yet published the new blocks, two blocks that he has found. While on the other hand, the honest miner keeps on hashing on the old block, which is two blocks older than the actual change state. So now what happens is that after finding two blocks, the selfish miner can publish his chain state, which will be much more advanced than what the honest miner has. So in this case, what happens is that all of the honest miner's hash rate has been wasted um, on a chain tip that has advanced that has been advanced by the selfish miner, but the honest miner doesn't know it. So his hash rate is getting wasted. So this, but through this attack, now when this attack is continued, it can lead to a larger rate of stale blocks in the network, and also this can reward the selfish miner disproportionately. So 70% honest miners who own 70% of the hash rate in this example did not manage to find even one block, but the selfish miner managed to find two blocks. So as you can see, this attack has two effects. One is that it severely penalizes the honest miner, while it disproportionately rewards the selfish miner. And for the network as a whole, the rate of production of stale blocks increases. So this will lead to race conditions and multiple forks emerging frequently. So these are all the detrimental effects when a selfish mining attack is orchestrated on the network. So this the mechanism has been like discovered since 2013, and recently Antoine Poinsot, a Bitcoin core dev, he fleshed out the math behind all these things. So now we have been talking about all talking about the scenarios of how this happenings, how this happens, the selfish mining happens. But because it's all a probabilistic game, you need some probability numbers and calculation that has to be put behind these things in order to analyze it. So after having made all the derivations of the probability functions and stuff, he has arrived at a number like if a selfish mining group controls somewhere around 33.33% of the network hash rate, then they can successfully orchestrate a selfish mining attack on the network. He also simulated this whole scenario, and he tried to simulate it. And the results that came up were like 36 to 37% hash rate. If an entity owns 36 to 37% hash rate, he can successfully orchestrate a selfish mining attack. And also, uh, if a selfish miner had control over 40% of the network hash rates, then over a 100-day window, he can successfully successfully harvest or receive rewards for 46% of the blocks that were mined over the 100 days. So these are all like the calculations that he has arrived at. The attempt is to show that the attack is can be successfully orchestrated given the state of mining pool centralization that we are facing now. So that is the context in which all this has been put forth. earlier in 2013, it was more of an academic exercise, and there was very less mining pool centralization, and these kinds of attacks were um, not practical or not possible in the real world. But given the current state of mining centralization happening, these kinds of attacks are much more realistic and can be orchestrated. So he has come up with the numbers in order to emphasize this attack, and he has called for all mm, Bitcoin blockchain researchers and devs to examine this problem and come up with solutions for this problem. Okay. The final news item for this week's session is about another proposal that has been made to sort of limit the transaction size that can be put into one single block. So we'll go through a basic background. We'll learn the background of where this problem comes from. So as you all know, there are two types of rules in the Bitcoin protocol or in the code. One is the consensus, and the other is standardness rule or policy rule. So consensus, there is no compromise on consensus rules. If your transaction violates the consensus rules, it is not. It cannot be put in a block. Whereas, if your transaction uh, doesn't violate any consensus rule, but it violates a standardness rule, it can be put in a block. Except that you have to be a miner yourself, or you have to get in touch with a miner out of ban. That is, you shouldn't use the mempool to propagate your transaction, but you have to get in touch directly with the miner, send him your transaction, and he will mine it by putting it in a block. So these are the two different types of rules that are there in the blockchain. There are reasons for developing the standardness rules apart from the consensus rules. Basically, to prevent DOS attacks, it also helps us in the uniformity of transactions, helps us in enforcing security. You can seamlessly, or at least in a less chaotic manner, perform upgrades over the network. You can create and successfully execute soft forks, and it also, this sort of uniformity helps in fee rationalization. So you can have a stable estimate of fees on the network. If at all there is no standardness rules, the fee market will likely be very chaotic and volatile. So these are all the reasons why we have standardness rules. Uh, Apart from that, we just have to keep in mind that right now, the maximum size of a single transaction that can be put into a block is at 100,000 V bytes, or 400,000 weight units. So this is a standardness rule and not a policy rule. So if you want to construct your transaction and want your transaction to be mined through by propagating it through mempools, that particular transaction should not exceed 400,000 weight units or 100,000 V bytes. If at all you have a transaction that exceeds this limit, you have to communicate to a miner out of band, and then get him to mine this non-standard transaction. Um, so why is this currently in focus, or why is it being examined? Is because you might have all heard about this layer 2 that is being developed, called as BitPM. it's a layer 2 protocol. This BitVM works largely on zero knowledge proof protocol called SNARK, SNARK. And the computation or transaction sizes that are required for to execute or anchor this protocol successfully in Bitcoin is quite high. So typically, you will have to create single transactions that exceed the 100,000 V byte or 400,000 V byte limit. So in that case, it is necessary for the protocol developers to communicate with miners out of band and get their transaction into the block. Recently, miners have also come up or expressed interest in taking up Bitcoin transactions out of band. For example, Antpool, F2 Pool, and Spider Pool have openly said that they are willing to take up Bitcoin transaction out of band and mine them. So, what is the problem behind this? Is that now, um, because of the increased out of band transactions, you will have fee market volatility. You don't know that, like you cannot predict what the fee for the next few blocks will be just just based on the contents of your mem because you cannot be sure that the miner will use only the transactions available in the mempool to construct the block. You cannot in a transparent way predict or model what will be the fees for the next few blocks. So and whenever a large transaction from a BitPM style protocol comes, the miner will prioritize it over other transactions. So this sort of skews or muddies the fee transaction mechanism. And also, this is a problem because miner centralization again comes into picture here. Some miners, owing to their higher hash rate, may be able to win a line share of these kinds of um, large transactions, and this might also cause small miners to lose out on a revenue generating mechanism. So these problems exist right now, and people are thinking about how to sort of handle this or address this in some sort of a rational way. So one proposal is that we introduce a non-confiscatory transaction weight limit. So what it means is that um, let's say there is one large transaction that comes up to the miner that exceeds the 400,000 weight unit or 100,000 V byte limit that we have for one single transaction. If that is the case, then the proposal is to make a consensus change or probably a soft fork that can enforce that whenever a miner wants to include a transaction that is greater than the 100,000 V byte or 400 weight unit size limit, then he has to choose a large transaction and no other transaction, which means you in the block he can only have a Coinbase transaction and the one single large transaction. He cannot fill the rest of the block space with small transactions. So this is the proposed solution, but it is still being debated upon. And there are comments in the Delving Bitcoin mailing list against a consensus rule. And there are discussions about how to enforce this using a soft fork, and there are also discussions as to how will it actually help avoid minor centralization and prevent it from disrupting the fee market functionality. So yeah, these are the news items that I wanted to cover today. um, if anyone has any questions, I am open for. We are open for discussions. Okay.
Bala, this assume value is pretty interesting. Just curious, uh,
Yeah.
can't the prune nodes graduate into full nodes eventually? Like they realize that right now they don't have any, some restrictions they have, and they'll just proceed with being prune node. But this one parallelly, some multi-processing they can do and cover up the rest of the validation and graduate. Is that unrealistic? Yeah, don't you think? Or
Uh, Yeah, the whole idea behind node is that if you are short of time and you don't have the luxury of waiting for the whole initial IBD to finish, that is when you go for a prune node. You are not interested in past transactions. You are only like you are new and you are freshly creating a wallet and you want your transactions henceforth to be processed by your own node, then you can use an assume valid node. Um, the parallelizing or the whole structure is that once you initiate an assume valid, the node sync will assume that till the assume valid block, all the transactions has been verified and is correct. So that is the basic assumption that a node gets into. Now, in the midway, if you want to reverse it, I don't think there is any way. You have to restart the IBD process by removing the assume valid flag. You should set the assume valid flag to 0. Only then you can restart the whole IBD process.
okay, okay, gotcha. Interesting. Oh, so this was an existing feature that was brought into light. Isn't
Yeah,
is it?
assume valid exists. It has been there for a long time. Now, the problem is that even though it doesn't verify, it downloads the witness data.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sort of redundant and doesn't make sense because anyway, it is going to delete the downloaded data. It sort of gets into a download delete cycle without any purpose. So people have identified it and they want to remove this redundant downloading process.
Okay, gotcha. Nice. I didn't know this. If I was doing some small POC of creating a node, I can very well make use of this and speed up
Yeah,
the
yeah,
entire process.
yeah. Basically, you can. It reduces your time by like half, at least half. So if your IPT takes on a fast SST, if it takes 4 5 days, you can finish the entire process in 2 2.5 days.
Right, nice. Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh,
Okay. If there are no more questions, I think we can call it a day. Uh,